Welcome to Adventures with Capt Ray Kelly. This is primarily a drone show. We'll be sharing adventures from all over the world. We hope to have interesting guests every week, and we're glad that you tuned in tonight. We'll be flying different drones in different locations. We encourage viewer participation in the chat. If you have a question, don't be afraid to ask. Every week, we'll have another interesting guest. So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. We'll be sharing various adventures by our guests as well as myself. And thank you for joining us tonight. Hi, welcome everybody. Welcome to Adventures with Capt Ray Kelly Live. It's Monday night, and I can't believe another week has passed. Really, I don't know where the weeks go, but it's almost Christmas, and I hope everybody's been good and you have a great holiday season, and I hope Santa brings everything you want. So, but I have a great show lined up tonight. I have an awesome special guest, Stephen Sutton, and a lot of you guys know who he is already. He's a founder of the Flyby Guys, and in my book, he's the king of drone shows. So he's going to be so interesting to talk to, and I think you're going to learn a lot listening to him. And if you have any questions, don't be afraid to put them in the chat. We'll keep an eye out for them, and we'll ask Stephen. But anyway, and like I mentioned in the chat, there's going to be a drone show at the Miami Dolphins game tonight, which is pretty cool. Hey, and it's one of those things where I think drone shows are going to be taken over. I mean, fireworks are going to be a thing of the past. I guess you'll always have them, but drone shows are where it's at right now. But anyway, I tell you, I'm always amazed, really, because I'm amazed that you guys take the time out to watch my live stream. I really appreciate it, And Scotty, he was number one today. He checked in today in early afternoon. So how you doing, Scott? Jackrabbit FPV, and I tell you, John, Connecticut Pirate, he was right behind him. Number two, and then we had I think I was it Warren who was number three? I forget now. Well, Paul might have been number three. What'd you make? How you doing, Paul? Good to see you. And I'm like I say, I'm truly humbled by all of this, really. But anyway, I see that we got Captain Joe in the house and Jaybird Drone. How you guys doing? And Dusty, East Coast Thrills is watching. And we got Alan, Drone Views Media. He's watching all the way from Ireland. So thank you, Alan. I appreciate it. And we got Tammy Jean watching tonight, and Max Air 420, and he loves DJI. So I appreciate him taking the time out to watch tonight. And I just happen to have a DJI drone right next to me, right here. But anyway, DJI is the best in my book anyway. But I'm not an FPV guy like Max. Max is one of the best FPV pilots that I know. So, but anyway, and then we got Lady Flyer UK. How you doing? And Bam Drone Michael Belshi. How you doing? Good to see you. And Angel is watching. Drone Guy 42. Hope you're feeling better, Angel. I know you come down with the bug, so I hope you're feeling better. And then we got Chris, Drone Life RC. He's watching up in Georgia. How you doing? Good to see you. Hope you feel better too. A lot of people been coming down with a flu or something. I know a couple of my neighbors, have it. And but anyway, I hope everybody gets well soon. But anyway, I'll get back to the names very shortly. I'll keep an eye out as you come in. I'll try to acknowledge you, but I don't want to leave my special guest in the back room too long because I didn't leave that much shrimp and lobster for. But anyway, we got Charles. How you doing, Charles? And Chris, have Joe will fly. Good to see you. But anyway, I want everybody to please give a warm welcome to Stephen Sutton of Flyby Guys, and he's coming to us all the way from Helsinki, Finland.
All that shrimp and lobster, it's everywhere,
How you doing, Stephen?
I'm good, Ray. How are you? Thanks for the invitation.
Yeah, well, thank you for being on. I know it's late for you, 1 a.m.
Yeah,
over there, right?
this is just normal, to come on to the shows and to, meet, the American audience. You have to be up late, and it's and as simple as that. Is if I go into the UK shows, it's a bit earlier. They aim more for the UK. Of course, they do have the Americans as well, but this is the time if you want to come and be on the American shows. So this is what you have to do. So I'm always happy and nice to see so many friendly people, all the usual people in the chat I can see here. So
I know. And Trucker Steve just came in. How you doing, Trucker Steve? Wherever you are, Stephen. I don't know if you know, he's actually transporting. He's part of a convoy that's bringing the wreaths across America to the National Cemetery. So I gotta say, that's a great thing that you're doing, Trucker Steve.
Nice one.
Really. And thank you for taking the time to watch tonight. But anyway, we got also Joe Fortalio's in the house now. Yeah, I tell you, got a lot of people, Stephen. They saw the promo post that you were going to be on. They want to hear all about these drone shows that you're very involved with. I call you the drone show king, but I know you do other things also.
Yeah, I'm very flattered that there's a lot of people that do these shows, and there's a lot of people in our team that do these shows with me. But yes, I'm very flattered. Thank you very much. We all work very hard to do these shows and to bring them to people. And a lot of people don't really see what goes on behind the scenes. They don't see the amount of planning and the amount of heavy work, long work that goes on. I mean, usually when you're doing these drone shows, they can be anything of up to 18-hour days when you're on shift. So and you're dealing with so many issues. But I wouldn't. I wouldn't.
Stephen, if you can tell us where you came up with the ideas of getting involved with drone shows rather than fireworks.
Right. Okay. So good question, and it's a simple term, really. It was down to COVID. It was down to COVID. Yeah, it was down to COVID because we were. I think we were just in the first major lockdown that was happening in the UK, also in the US as well. Yeah. And we had been talking with, we had been doing work and stuff, but of course things were a little bit slower than usual. And then Intel had contacted us. So Intel, who were one of the pioneers of the drone light shows, they had contacted us. This was around the summer of 2020, and they had a global ban on travel, like most large organizations during the pandemic had. So many of these companies had a big travel ban. So nobody was traveling because they wanted everyone to stay healthy. So, but the thing is that Intel had shows that they were doing, so they wanted to make sure that the shows were going to be safe, that they could do the shows, but still keep their employees safe. So the point was, could we learn how to use their system, do the shows, and they could still work as normal? So that was what happened. So basically, after several months of discussions and meetings and offers and stuff, we won the deal and we went to Germany. And this was during the lockdown. I mean, I went to Munich with my team, having been used to traveling in Munich and seeing the airport completely empty, all the planes were empty.
Right.
We went there and we learned how to use the system. So we got trained on the system. And then as soon as we got trained on the system, we were, we were back on a plane heading to Dubai, and we were there for 2 months doing shows. We were, on the beach every day, but it was during the pandemic, so it was all good. And then from that point on, we just, we were traveling all over the world, Africa, Asia, Middle East, doing shows, and it was.
I mean, it's amazing. I mean, you've done so many shows now, and we'll get into talking about the different shows that you've done. But we have a question already for you from Paul Brown, Legendbait, and he's saying, working with a team for such a huge task as a drone show, what is the best method you use to keep everyone on the same page leading up to and during the show?
Well, great question. They can be very, I know that everyone will see these shows that we do, and they will look fantastic, and you'll go, wow. For us, it's, we are majorly exhausted, because like I said, I think I was saying before that, we can be working 18-hour days, and certainly I used to, I would be working 18 with less of 18-hour days because I'm basically project management. And you're dealing with different cultures, you're dealing with geopolitical problems, you're dealing with safety issues, and so when your team is, you can have this what we call we have a term for this, and we call it we call it cabin fever. So we all have cabin fever. So we're in this kind of a bubble, the team, and you start getting stupid, so you start having your own language, and you start having these in jokes that will last only in those places and stuff, so cabin fever is a big thing, and you have to have a sense of humor. You have to keep the team up and running. You have to keep them motivated, filled with coffee, food, as much and stuff. Yeah, it is quite tough because you can be in situations that you don't particularly like. The customer can be very demanding, and then you have to judge every situation as it is and basically say, do we continue here or do we stop for the day, no matter what the customer says, because it's all down to safety. We have to make sure that we do things very, very well, so I hope that answers your question.
Yeah, no, that did, definitely. Safety is number one, but there is so much coordination involved in these drone shows, really. And I have one of them queued up. I'm going to be showing one of them very, very shortly. I just want to make sure. I know we got Ron Johnson in the house, and we got a celebrity among us now, Johnny Drone Flyer. He's watching.
Oh, Johnny.
How you doing, Johnny? And another celebrity, Bob Casey's in the house. How you doing, Bob?
Yeah.
And while I'm talking about Bob Casey, I want to say thank you to Bob because he's sponsoring the 4th annual South Florida Drone Meetup again. Mm-hmm. And he's donating one of his custom-made wooden American flags that he makes. So I got to say thank you to Bob.
Cool.
That's going to be a great raffle prize for somebody. And we got Lee, Yellow Rose Drones, in the house now. How you doing, Lee? And he's a newlywed, by the way. He's a newlywed, Steven. So.
Oh, is he? Is he? Okay.
Congratulations again, Lee. Yeah. But anyway, so, Steven, I'm going to show one of your videos right now with the drone show, and maybe you can narrate over it. And it's the one in Helsinki, I guess, right?
Yeah,
so,
our hometown.
Our hometown. So tell us about this one.
This was the first ever drone light show to be done in Finland and also Helsinki, and this is done in the center of Helsinki, and here we had our first, we're using our FPV pilot here as well, this is something that when you bring your work home with you, and finally, my wife and my daughter can now finally see what I do. After all these years of me traveling and doing what I'm doing, they can actually finally get to see it. So this was a very, very nice. This was our World Cup final. This was our big game to bring this home. And
very, very cool. That's all I can say.
Yeah, it was nice. It was, I was very happy to show this to our home, and it was nice because we had this Nordic and we had this Christmas feel to it as well. So you'll see Santa Claus here, you'll see the reindeer and stuff, and this was very well done, and yeah, it was. You don't see all of this show because this show was actually a private show. It was a private event, which was held in public, of course, but we couldn't show the logos of the actual client itself because they wanted to remain, anonymous.
I gotcha.
So
well, this is incredible. Really?
Oh yeah, this is wonderful. I mean, this transition from the husky to the reindeer was fantastic. It's one of the nicest transitions I've ever done. So. But it wasn't without its challenges. We had some issues for this show. We had some problems we had to deal with. But, you deal with it, you manage it, you get on with it. And Merry Christmas to everyone as you see Santa Claus there, so.
Well, I tell you, really, it's amazing. Now I guess you have like an artistic director that does all these creative. Yeah, sure. Of course.
Yeah. Yeah, and there's something that we work with along with the client. So, I mean, the process can take up to 1 month of, let's say, communication. So the client will come to you with ideas, will come to you with images and say, "This is what we want," and then we take that to the artistic team, and they will work on that. And then we'll have weekly meetings with the client and go through. We'll have video of how this works, and they'll see it in let's say a sort of 2D, and then of course when they see it live, then it's different. It's very it's big, it's 3D, and it's and I can honestly say that when the client, I wasn't with the client because I was actually piloting this show, so this was my I'm usually the project manager, but I was going to pilot this show. I wanted to be the pilot for this one. So,
cool, so, very cool. We got a few more people. Maddie's Drone World. Maddie's in the house. How you doing? And Jose Mendez Ops. How you doing? And Jeff, Carolina Air Shots. How you doing?
Yeah.
Jerry Bauer's in the house now too. How you doing, Jerry?
And so it was. I found out that we had this, let's say, dress rehearsal. So we had a dress rehearsal the night before the main show. And there's a good question here I'll get from Jerry.
Okay. All right. Yeah, good.
I'm going to answer this in a second. But the client was literally in tears. She was literally crying when she seen the show for the first time.
Nice.
In the rehearsal, and she's got and it does that. These shows make you emotional. They actually bring emotions to you, and it's just amazing to see people get very emotional with that. Jerry has a question here, and he says, "What's the biggest issues with running the shows? Weather, politics?" Jerry, you have no idea. I'll tell you right now. This show that we done in Helsinki there, and what you've seen in that video, on the run up, this was early October. In fact, it was the 2nd of October, and generally the weather can be quite bad there, but the weather was actually very, very good. It was very warm. It was like 17, 18 degrees. I think I was even wearing shorts one day. However, on the night of the show, on the night of the actual show, there was rain coming in.
Oh, that's not good.
And this is something that when you become a drone pilot, when you become a drone operator, weather is something that you need to study. You need to study weather, and this is my tip to everyone out there: study weather.
That's what tonight's tip is. So that's perfect.
There you go. And I did not know that. Honestly, I didn't know that.
I know you didn't.
Study the weather, because if you really study the weather, you're able to pinpoint when that rain is going to leave, literally down to the minute. And that's what we had to do. So we were working with the client. They had a big event on, and there was, there was program happening. There was bands playing, meals and stuff, and then drinks and speeches and stuff. And then we were having the show, and the show was a surprise. So actually, the people who were attending the event did not know about the show. It was a surprise. So it's tough to plan when you've got rain coming in, and then you're trying to get people to make sure. Can you wait 10 minutes? And just we're just waiting for this cloud to pass.
I know.
So we tend to work with lots of different weather radars. So we'll have them all, and then we'll mitigate which ones that we think are the best. But the second part of Jerry's question was about the politics. No. Yeah. I've been involved in geopolitics before, so I won't go into detail. But when you're dealing with countries that are having issues with other countries, and you can have your show affected by that,
of course,
and then you have to manage that between the client and the customer, and then your operator. And it can get really messy, and it even got to newspapers where I was in the news and stuff like that, and I was, kind of arguing with governments and stuff. I've told world leaders to F off. Literally, I've told world leaders to F off. So it's something you have to be able to deal with, and this is all about protecting your team. So when your team is at risk or safety, then you have to stand up for your team, kind of thing, and do that. So I'll always be the person that stands in front and says, you don't mess with my team, and you don't mess with safety. So
safety is number one. I say that. Johnny and I say it on the Fly for Fun show. Safety is number one. Yeah.
So I hope that answers your question, Jerry.
Yeah, and if anybody else has any question, put them in the chat. We'll keep an eye out for them. But now we got Greg Pittman in the house. How you doing, Greg? And George Kelly, he popped in. He's watching out in Wisconsin. So, I know. Have you done any flying for fun lately, Stephen? Now that you're taking a little break, or you got a little break, or vacation, or however you want to word it.
I've well, actually, the weather's been quite bad here. There's been a lot of snow, and it's been very cold.
Oh, really?
So I've been trying to find a gap between the weather and actually go out, because I don't want to go out in the cold, and I'm trying not to go out. I'm trying to stay in, because it's been very, very cold here. It's been really cold.
Okay.
And lots of snow. So, but I, everywhere I go, I'm always carrying a drone with me. A drone follows me everywhere. If I'm going into town or going for a walk, or I'm always carrying one with me. So I'm always packing.
Do you sleep with your drone like I sleep with my Mavic 3?
I keep mine in a bag at the door. It's there, and I always have a Mavic 3. Actually, I have there. So I have a Mavic. Yeah, I have a Mavic 3 Pro here, and Air 2S, and I've got two Mavic 3s actually. Two Mavic 3s and several others.
I figured you would have a large fleet of drones, but I have my Air 2S right here too. So
the Air 2S is a great drone. It's a very underrated drone.
I love this drone.
It's even with the Mavic, even with the Air 3, as good as it is, I still think the Air 2 or the Air 2S has a bit of an edge on the.
We got another celebrity in the chat. John Cuppy's in the chat. How you doing, John?
John Cuppy. Oh, okay.
I tell you, and he's quite the FPV pilot too. Really,
No,
you know.
I would like to have John on a drone show with me, and have him come and do
Well,
some.
with your drone shows, you're incorporating FPV drones
Yeah.
throughout the
Yes.
show itself, right?
Yes. Yes. And I have an FPV pilot that I have here in Finland. So I mean, I've worked with a few FPV pilots all over the world. Actually, I've worked with some of the best FPV pilots, but I have one that I'm using here in Finland just now, and he was on drone drone Seekers International. He was a guest on their show last week, and he was also doing the Tesla light show with us as well. So,
Right.
and that turned out to be, well, I mean, I think some of you have seen that. It's been viral. It's been literally one of the most unbelievable shows we've ever done. So
we're going to show that video a little later too. But anyway, Johnny says his son-in-law is going to be going to Finland for work in February.
Johnny, just send me his number, and you can give me a call when he arrives.
All right, Paul has another question for you. Let's see. You want to read it? Or?
Yeah. Well, I mean, if you want to read it.
During your work on drone shows, have you had a "what the hell just happened" moment that you just can't figure out? He's trying to put you on the spot, Stephen.
Yes, we have. Yes, we have. Mm-hmm. Yes, we have.
Can you share it? Can you share it or no?
Well, we have been jammed a lot. We have been jammed.
Explain. A lot of people don't know what jamming means.
So when you're flying your drone, so there's two levels of, let's say, protocols that you have. So you have your GNSS or your GPS, right? So you have so when you have your satellites, so that's one part, which is the same as what we have with the drone shows. And then you have your radio frequency. So you have your radio frequency, which you have from your controller to the drone. It's the same for us. So when we have the controller, which we are controlling, the software, there is a radio frequency coming from the control to the drones.
Right.
Now the GPS can be jammed and the radio can be jammed, or they can both be jammed.
Yeah.
And when you have your GPS jammed, your drone will not know where it is, and it will just literally fall from the sky. If you have your radio jammed, if you have a return to home feature, then your drone could well come back, but it could also behave funny. But it just means that when it's doing the job that it's doing, it can become quite messy. And this gets into the geopolitics thing now as well. But we have been jammed a couple of times, and it's not a nice thing to see. It's not a nice thing to happen, because sometimes it's out with your control, and it can also be just purely accidental. It can be that you have a ship, you have a ship passing, and a lot of these big ships.
You wouldn't even think about that, really.
They do have, some of them are jamming for certain reasons, and then you'll have military. So if you're in, or you can have people in the crowd who can buy these little jammers, and they'll just set them off. And that can affect your show, and it's also at the same time, if you have lots and lots of people, if you have a large crowd of people in one area, the cell phones can have an issue as well. So, and that's something that we've also seen. So, so these things happen. So, yes, what the hell moment has happened to me quite a few times.
Well, that was a great question, Paul. Really, I know when we fly for fun, and we have these meetups. We have our annual South Florida drone meetup. You know about that, Stephen, and you've been given invitations to come, and I'm going to give you your personal invitation this year to join us.
In April?
April, yeah, you probably know what one it is, but it's April 6th.
It's April 6th, yes, I remember. Yeah.
And we have 95 people on the list already that say they're coming. And for those that don't know, it's free to come. And we're having it again at the Jensen Beach Causeway Park in Jensen Beach, Florida. And if you're coming, let me know. I'll add you to the list. And
I'm going to be trying to come this year. I'm going to do my absolute best to come. I couldn't come last year because I was busy, as you know.
Work got in the way. I know. But this year we got pilots coming from Europe. They're coming from England. Steve Gardner from
That's
Drone
right.
Seekers International and Terry Mars are coming. And we got pilots coming down again. They're coming back. So they had a good time last year from Canada.
Yep.
But anyway, it's always a good time at the South Florida Drone Meetup. So, but anyway, there's your personal invitation, Stephen.
Thank you very much.
But you know, we ended up having a little contest of how many drones we can get in the sky.
I remember this.
I think the first time we did it in Spin Up, we had like 7 drones, you know.
Yeah.
And then we did it in we started it at the South Florida Drone Meetup, and 2 years ago we had 10.
That's right.
And then last year we broke the record with 18 drones.
Well, it's always good to double. It's always good to double, and it's always good to have a record, because having a record, helps with your PR to say that next year you have to have 20 or 25.
Yeah, we're going to try to break our record, you know. But what's the largest drone show you've been involved with? How many drones?
The largest show has been 1,500.
Oh, wow. That's incredible. And where was that?
That was in Taiwan.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
That had to be amazing to see that many drones in the sky, really.
Yeah, it was incredible to just, I mean, not only to see the drones, but to hear the crowd when, because we had a crowd of, it ended up with being 250,000 people each night.
Okay, wow, big crowd.
When you have 250,000 people going,
oh yeah. Hey, yeah. Jody, Drone Shots, how you doing? No, that had to be incredible. Really.
Yeah, it was something which never left me. There's not many things that really get me. There's my wedding, my daughter's birth, and then there's the 1,500 drones.
Now, is that like the largest drone show that you've heard about, or
no? There has been larger ones.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah, there's been 2,000, 3,000, but that's been the largest one that we've done anyway. So
now I know we shouldn't talk about some of the mishaps that happened, and I just remember one where drones actually fell out of the sky during a show. You weren't involved with that one, right?
No,
right.
No, I think a lot of those things happen because of inexperience. When it's and I think that we see these things happening in China a lot because they have a they have a different level of safety, requirements than we do in the West. So it would be really, and I think it would be really tough for these Chinese companies that do their own shows to come to Europe or the US. I don't think they would be able to do it. And they wouldn't meet the standards.
It's just too many safety precautions, correct?
Yeah. So the amount of documentation that we have to do in order to meet to get the license to do these shows here, you have to meet these requirements. And if you don't meet those requirements at all, and if it's so safety takes a bit of a backseat when it comes to in the Far East, unfortunately. So
right, yeah. Safety's, I've said it 3 times already on the show. Number one, safety is number one.
You should never get tired of saying safety on, because it really is here. Because if you lose concentration, if you lose focus, and then you make that one mistake, and that one mistake can it can end you as a company. It can end you as an operator. So,
hey, Michael, how you doing? No. It's did I say hello to Randy? Randy Props? I don't know if I
No, you
did.
did not.
I try to acknowledge most of the viewers, if not all of them, during my live stream, Stephen. So I
Yeah.
apologize if I jump off you talking and I say hello to somebody, but I definitely try to acknowledge them.
Yeah.
But now we got Leonard, JSK Enterprise in the
Yeah.
house. How you doing, Leonard? He's a former police officer like me,
Okay,
retired. I
nice.
should say retired police officer.
Okay.
He's an old fart. We even got a new guy in the chat too. Bill Egan's watching tonight. How you doing, Bill?
Yeah.
He's the greatest tour guide in America. That's all I'm
Okay.
gonna say. He takes us on our bus trips,
Okay.
and I'm gonna get him flying drones before he knows it. So. But I go on these bus trips, Stephen, with Bill, and I'll sometimes bring the drone and I'll fly him during our bus trip.
Cool.
And I did that recently up in St. Augustine. He had taken us on a bus trip to St. Augustine, Florida, and I ended up taking the opportunity to fly drones while I was there.
Okay, cool.
And if you don't mind, I'm just going to show a little bit of this video because I was with Steve Barnett, and we had a great time flying in St. Augustine.
Steve Barnett, and we'll be flying by Castillo de San Marcos Fort. Hi, welcome to Adventures with Capt Ray Kelly. I'm here at the Castillo de San Marcos National Monument. It's in St. Augustine, Florida. I'm going to be flying drones today with Steve Barnett. It's a great place to fly drones.
I know you got the castles and you got such beautiful architecture
Mavic 3,
where you are,
and Steve
but this castle, there's a lot of history at this
Mini 3
this fort here, and it's
You're
like
not
it's
allowed to fly over the fort.
right. Yeah, you can't fly directly over it.
Forecast, and we had
So yeah, I checked my UAV
19
forecast too,
mile-an-hour
Stephen.
We were good to fly.
Okay.
You know. But this waterfront area up in St. Augustine is such a great place to fly from.
And it's great to fly right here on the St. Augustine waterfront.
I do a lot of narration in my videos, Stephen. My wife says I talk too much. But anyway, take a look at this fort. Now, have you ever flown over a fort over there by you?
No?
Nope, I have not, no.
Spanish. It is the oldest masonry fort in the continental United States. It's located on the western shore of Matanzas Bay in the city of St. Augustine, Florida. There's a lot of.
But anyway, I had so much fun flying up here with Steve Barnett.
Daily.
And I have to say, Ken Huffbauer was placed in here. He's not in the chat tonight, but he's the one who told me about this.
Park Service in 1933.
So,
but
anyway, guys, that's my little
historic district.
flight up in St. Augustine.
Popular tourist destination ever since.
Cool.
And I had a great time. If you want to watch the rest of the video, go to my channel. But you have castles and everything over where you are in Finland, right?
No,
more in England and Ireland and all of that.
Yeah, mostly in Scotland. Yeah, we do have a lot of castles. Yeah, not so many castles here in Finland right enough. But I mean, there are a few, but not that that many. Not like we have in Scotland, where we have lots of castles and lots of let's say history behind that as well. So, yeah, and you can't fly over them either. So,
right. But anyway, Lady Flyer UK has a question for you.
Yes.
What other drones you fly on your shows?
Ooh.
Good question. I meant to ask that.
let me answer that with a show and tell.
Okay, that's good. Oh, we love show and tell, Stephen. Really. And it's funny how we all think DJI is the best, but they don't use DJI drones, if I remember right. That sounds good to me, Bill.
There we go. So So one of the, or let's say the first drone we ever had was this one, which is the Intel. It's the Intel Shooting Star. So this was what this was, and the props have been cut off because I would use this for doing site surveys, and I would put it in my suitcase to carry as hand luggage. So I would try to keep it as light as possible. So I would just gather data. So this was the first drone we used for that. And you have the light in here. And the light lights up. In fact, I'll show you how it lights up.
Okay, cool. That'd be great to see. Yeah.
If I can find it. I found them. There we go. So, first one here. So we have this little Kickstarter thing here. So I put that in there.
Oh, there you go.
And then that lights up, and you can.
Okay.
It runs through. So it's trying to find it. So
very cool.
And that goes off there. Second one is this is the next generation of the Intel drone light show, which is now owned by Nova Sky Stories.
Okay.
Owned by Kimball Musk.
Right. I heard it.
So this one, you have a Kickstarter here for this one here. So this lights up there. Put that on, and then you have the light there. So this is the next generation from this one.
Okay. So, and what's the flight time on them, Stephen?
This one's about 11 minutes.
Okay. Yep.
This one was about 9 minutes. So a bit more different. And then this one here, this is one we are using a lot now. So this is the Parrot drone. So this comes from Dronisos.
Okay.
And you see the unicorn here. This is the F9P a GNSS unit here to give the RTK as well. So this has about 15 minutes of flight time.
15 minutes.
Yeah. So, and that also includes launch and landing. So when I say, if I say 11 minutes, you've got maybe 8 minutes of show.
Right.
You've got a minute and a half to get to the position and a minute and a half to get back, because you always include the launch and the landing and the time that it takes to do the show. So
exactly.
So, but this is a bit longer. So we can do longer shows with this one. So, but this is the Parrot Anafi. And we just change, we take off the camera and we put a front part on here for the, for the LED. So
very, very cool. But anyway, Akiraja Warren has a question. Do you name the individual drones? No, we don't. We don't, because there's too many. I know.
There's way too many, so we don't. You never get too personal with these drones because they might fail. You might have to change them. That one might not launch, so you never get attached to them. Think of them as your friend who has a girlfriend or boyfriend, but they never seem to keep that girlfriend, so you never get too attached to their partners, right? That's what these drones are like, because they can change all the time. So you don't give them.
Yeah. We got another question from Lady Flyer. What's the price of one of those, Stephen?
You can't really put a price on them because you don't really go out and buy them. They're really assembled from order, so it's difficult to say how much they cost. You will see the cost from when you take them out. If they're coming in and out of the country, you'll see on a sheet that they cost this, and this is just kind of general what they cost.
Yeah.
So it's really hard to say how much they cost. Really, it's not.
What about numbering them? Do you number them? Bob Casey wants to know if you number the drone.
Not really, no, because they can be pretty much random. So when they land, you put them, you put them in position, and they don't have to be in the same position as they've been. And when you upload the software, when you upload the show, they will just get the show and, and that's it, so you don't really number them in a sense. No. We don't have emotional attachments to them.
Right. Yeah. Well, I'm very attached to my drone. You guys know that.
Yes.
I really am. And it's funny because I started with a Phantom 4, when I got serious, and I had a hard time selling it. I just kept it around for like 2 years. I didn't even fly it that much, but then finally I let it go.
I've still got my Phantom 4 here. I haven't got rid of it.
You do, yeah. See, you got yours. I know. And Al, South Florida Drone Flyers, he's been flying. He just recently got one as a gift to him, and he's been flying it lately. And I'm really wishing I had mine back.
It's an old faithful. It's one of those drones that that you kind of that you shouldn't really get rid of because it's just part of your. I think it's a drone that you can emotionally get, let's say, part of.
So we got Ronnie in the house. God bless America. How you doing, Ronnie? Good to see you. John K is in the house now. How you doing, John? No, and it's hard. It's hard to keep the conversation going. Look for the questions. And if I miss them, guys, I apologize. I know Paul had asked 2 last week, and I missed them both. So I don't want to miss Paul's again this week. Here's another one from Paul. So, Stephen, first, I want you to wish a happy holiday season with your family to you. And what are the plans for Christmas and all your family? Who shares your passion the most?
Thank you very much for the greetings there. Thank you. I will literally be, let's say, relaxing and I'll be enjoying some good food and some good wine. Hopefully more good wine than food, but probably equal. I am a bit of a wine enthusiast, so I do enjoy good wine. And I'll try to do as much flying as I can during the holidays. I think I will. I have a feeling that I'll probably be quite busy. I think the phone will be ringing a lot. Let's see, but hopefully I'll have some, just have some rest time. Let's see.
Well, that's what you need. You need some time to yourself and your family. That's for sure.
Yeah.
I made that mistake when I was working. I worked too much.
Yeah.
But listen, Stephen. Another thing that you recently got involved with is the Tesla light shows. Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah. So some of you may know, or you may have seen the video. It's went pretty viral over the past couple of weeks. So I'm
gonna share it as you talk. All right.
Yeah. Sure. So
this is a cool video.
So the Teslas have this ability to do a light show, and they've had a couple of shows in the US and a couple of shows in Germany, and Finland broke the world record. We had 687 cars in the one place. I had my Tesla there, but I also wanted to video the show. So I had a team of people who had five cameras. Maybe four drones and 5 cameras. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 drones and 1 camera. So we had a lot to do, and it was really well planned. We only had 1 take to do it, so we didn't have a rehearsal. We didn't do a second take. What you see here is 1 take only. So we had the drones and we had the FPV, and we done this, amazing.
This is like incredible. Who would think that Tesla cars could do this?
Yeah. It was, this is my FPV pilot again, Henry, who done an incredible job. He really did. But really, the main thing about this is how we done the edit afterwards, because we had so much content, we had so many cameras, and we had to get it out in the morning for the TV. but we had to get this done in time.
This is incredible. It really is.
So as soon as we finished doing the filming, as soon as everyone left, we came back here. We came to Flyby Guys' office, and we sat for 7 hours, and we were editing for 7 hours, and that's what we had.
Well, this is really, really amazing. And to set a new world record, you know, kudos to you and your whole team that was involved. Really. This video is amazing. And the show itself is amazing.
Yeah, the show was, yeah, I mean, the show was nice, but, you know, we had to, I had to concentrate on other drone pilots because there were so many people there with their cars, and then they thought that, yeah, I'll just put my drone up, and I had to go up and say to them, please land your drone now, don't fly your drone because you're going to put us at risk, you know, because we had to be aware of everything that was in the air.
Yeah,
you know?
I know.
So I had to
really, if you guys want to watch it, go to his channel and go to Flyby Guys. While I'm thinking of it,
yeah.
If you're not subscribed to Steven, please subscribe to him right now on the show. Don't wait until after the show. But anyway, that was incredible, Steven. Really, you know.
Yeah, and so it's nice to do.
You plan on doing more of those Tesla light shows too?
We are planning to do one more next year, which will be bigger. And it's not something which I do a lot of, let's say, video stuff. I mean, you know, I make videos, we do the shows. This is something which, you know, I was doing with Mavics. So we had Mavic 3s. Mavic 3s were our drones, you know. So we had Mavic 3s.
Okay.
And we had several. I think we had about 4 Mavic 3s, and then we had the FPV drone. And you know, those of you who know my channel, we don't do, you know, wonderful videography. It's just because I just concentrate on the type of content, you know, from like an educational point of view. But this was my moment to shine, I think, when I could direct and I could edit and I could plan and get the shots that I really wanted, you know. So
of course. This is really amazing. It's quite the honor and tribute, really. And I guess Mr. Musk, he was Kimball Musk, right? He was involved, and he must have been very happy.
Kimball Musk wasn't involved with this.
He wasn't involved. Oh, okay.
Yeah, and actually Tesla.
Elon must have been happy.
we don't know that actually, but we know that his mother was happy. We do know that. But it's we're not sure how much. Well, actually, Tesla were there. So actually, Tesla from Finland actually came to the event, and they were one of the sponsors of the event, which of course was nice. So they were there on an official basis, but they only came there after the event became large. So when they knew there was going to be about 700 cars, then the Tesla were like, okay, we will now come, you know. So, but it's the fact that we were able to capture it, because I think that when you're on the ground, you don't see the show the same way. You can't see the show when you're on the ground like that. You just see the cars flashing. But when you're when you're from the air, you get to see the actual choreography, because doing the edit with the music was really tough. That was really tough because it's really precise. And we had the person who was designing the show. He was sitting next to us, and I had him go left a bit, right a bit, just get the edit, because it had to be perfect. It had to be perfect. So that's why it took us 7 hours to get the edit done. And when we got the edit done, we walked away, and well, it was about 6 o'clock in the morning, and I couldn't sleep because I was just so excited. I seen the video and I thought, this is something special, you know. So
yeah, kudos to you, like I said, and your whole team that was involved. But anyway, TJ would like you to make a comment in the chat so they can all go to your channel. I'm not good with links, Steven, So I apologize about that. But if you make a comment, they can go to your channel. And then I think we have another question from John Flynn. How you doing, John? Wants to know, what is Stephen's current favorite go-to drone when he wants to fly?
My go-to drone just now is the Mavic 3 Pro.
Okay. Yeah.
For sure, it's the Mavic 3 Pro. It's
That's a great drone to fly for fun.
Yeah, it is. You know, it is. I'm unable to write a thing in the chat here for some reason. I don't know why, but it's not accepting.
Really? Don't tell me you got blocked.
I probably got blocked. Yeah, I'll let me try. Let me just check here. Yeah, and the Mavic 3 Pro I really like. I mean, I have we have about, I think we have about 3 Mavic 3s. But the Mavic 3 Pro is my go-to drone. It's
yeah. Well, the mini drones, are they popular in Finland, by the way? The Mini 3 Pro, the Mini 4 Pro?
Yes, they are. And just really when it comes down to legislation, I'm just putting my thing in the chat there. You should see me now. There you are. It should be there. And yeah. You should maybe.
Man, I didn't know you weren't. I thought you were a moderator from way back. Well, you are now, Stephen. Sorry about that.
Thank you. And yeah, so but I mean, so
are you, lady flyer, UK? You're a moderator. Yep.
I mean, from let's say from a legislation point of view, the sub 250s are very, very, very popular here. So, you know, because we have a change coming at the beginning of the year. So it's something that you really have to have now. So if you want to fly in any kind of built up areas, although the Mavic 3 for us is almost like a sub 250 because it goes into the C1 class drone, which is kind of like a sub 250 in a way. So
I got you.
So yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you, I love I don't have it out. I have it in my bag over there, but I love my Mini 3 Pro. I really like that drone also.
Yeah, it's a good drone. It's a really, really good drone, you know. But I think in the US it's a little bit different from here in Europe. You know, it's here, you kind of have to have that if you want to fly in a built up area, whereas in the US it's a little, it is a little bit different in a way, but one of the big differences here in Europe is that you can fly a sub 250 for work and you don't have to have your Part 107. You don't have to have a license for it. So it's a bit different here in that way. So, well,
Randy just put in Avata, and have you flown the Avata, or do you have an Avata?
Yes, I have. I've flown the Avata. Yes, I have. I flew it once indoors.
And how did you like that drone?
Cool. It was nice. Yeah, it was nice to fly indoors. Yeah, it was nice. Yeah, I've not flown it outside. I've not flown it fast or anything. So I was just flying it inside a building around and stuff.
I've flown it a couple of times now, but the goggles, I have a hard time with the goggles.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Not that I'm afraid somebody's going to come up and hit me on the head, from behind.
Yeah,
but I like to be aware of my surroundings.
Yeah, and I think that I think that having, the visual awareness is really, really important. Because if you don't have that, then you can really feel a bit restricted, and some people feel a bit claustrophobic.
Right. And Andrew's in the house. How you doing, Andrew? Good to see you. Yeah. But anyway, Stephen, I have a little contest that I do, and you're eligible too. And it's for a monthly giveaway, and that's for an Adventures with Capt Ray Kelly hat this month. So now's the time, guys. I'm surprised you guys didn't remind me by starting to put in your numbers. But put in your lucky number between 1 and 50, and we'll see who gets it first. So put it in the chat.
Do you know what I'm looking forward to? When Johnny's son-in-law comes to Finland, he brings a Johnny Drone Flyer cap for me.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, yeah. He has
Johnny,
a very. Oh, you want a Johnny Drone Flyer, Cap? You don't want an Adventures with Capt Ray Kelly yet?
Well, if you can get if you can get that to Johnny,
I see it. I see the number. Hopefully, nobody got it before Bob Casey, but Bob Casey got the 20. That's the first one I saw. That was the lucky number. Congratulations, Bob. Your name will go in for the drawing at the end of the month. So it's fun doing these little giveaways, Stephen. But yeah, I'll get together with you after the show. So, but I tell you, Stephen, the hour goes by so quickly. Really, it just flies by. And Monday night is a very busy night here in the drone community. You know. I think Durana Fly will be going on at 7 p.m. and then the Grumpy Vlogger, Lloyd Mendenhall, he goes on at 8. And then 9 p.m. we got Drone Nation with Ron Brown and Marcus Crawford and DeMarco Moore. So
I just got my invitation. I just got my invitation to Drone Nation. I'll be on there in the next few weeks. Oh,
good. Yeah, that's one of my favorites. It really is. So, but now, Stephen, it's time for you to say goodbye and anything you would like to promote, like your channel or whatever, your drone shows.
No, I'm not going to promote myself. I'm just going to say, everyone, have a very nice holiday. Happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy New Year to everyone. I hope you have a very pleasant and restful time at the end of the year. Fly safe, and we'll see you in the next few months, or we'll see you on the next videos, and just keep flying and keep making that good content and keep the drone community as it is, which is absolutely amazing, no matter where you are in the world.
Well, thank you, Stephen, for being on tonight. You were an awesome guest. Just like I said on my Facebook post and the promo post, really, you are one of the leaders in the drone community, and like I said, you're the drone show king. So
thank you so much.
I consider you my friend now. And
absolutely. And I look forward to meeting you all. If I can get over to the Florida Drone Meet in April, I'm going to be a busy man. I'm going to have a very sore hand shaking everyone's hand and giving everyone hugs.
I know, it really is. And that's what it's more or less about, the South Florida Drone Meetup. It's not so much about the flying, it's just about socializing with the other pilots.
Community. Yeah,
and we do a little flying too. So, but thank you, everybody. Thank you for watching tonight. Don't forget about the Fly for Fun show on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And just get out there, fly for fun, but most importantly, fly safely. Steve and I are going to continue eating the shrimp and lobster in the back room. So have a good night, everybody.